Today's podcast is brought to you by Nature's Best Relief, CBD oil and products. Hey, this is pure high-strain hemp. That's what it is. It's what they do. Their products are made from a cannabis compound with significant supplement benefits without the THC that makes you stoned or high. It's just the good stuff. The hemp products help with inflammation, pain, anxiety, psychosis, seizures, spasms, and other conditions. And here's the best news. If you use code word MUDFLAP or Remasculate at checkout, you can get 10% off your total bill. That's right. So check out Nature's Best Relief CBD oil and hemp products. They've got capsules, the lotions, cream. They got all the flavor oils. That's what I've been using. I like the cinnamon and the vanilla. But check them out at naturesbestrelief.com. That's naturesbestrelief.com. And use code word MUDFLAP or Remasculate and get 10% off your total purchase. Now, let's get on with Remasculate.
In the basement of the MUDFLAP house, flapping and Pooh, and they're under with the grains and news. And Pooh licks himself, and Flap contemplates manly things. He thinks about guns and trucks and Stooges 3, men and boys, and that doesn't sound right. He thinks about boobs and bacon and power tools. Come with me, let's remasculate. Oh, won't you come with me and remasculate?
Aloha!
Hey guys, welcome back to the new and improved Remasculate podcast. It's great to be back. It's great to be doing 2 in a row. Amazing to be doing 2 in a row. But I have a great guest this week. I'm working with Zoltan. You guys probably have seen him on Dry Bar Comedy. He's got the great cat bit. He's got the great dog and cat bit. He's got a lot of other funny stuff, and I'm glad to have him as the guest here on Remasculate. So let's not waste a lot of time with this pre-chit chat. Let's get right into the meat of the chit and the chat. What do you say? It's Zoltan.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the new and improved version of Remasculate. I relaunched this last week.
Oh, okay.
I did a kind of a brand new. I got rid of some things in it, different start. I want to retool the whole graphics and everything on it, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. But after like almost 7 years of doing podcasts, sometimes you have to rebrand and relaunch.
Sure.
And I've actually been thinking about calling this podcast, and sorry for the language, I better not do that yet.
What the hell were you going to call it?
I put this on Twitter, and people said, yes, you should call it that.
Oh.
Fuck these people.
Oh, there you go.
and do the whole thing just like a rant, and then fuck these people.
Yeah, whatever you're mad at.
Whatever you're mad about.
Yeah, there you go.
And people are like, yeah, I love that name. Because
as much as we try,
I call this Remasculate.
Okay.
The podcast has been Remasculate for years because that's one of my things that I've always thought that people have let things slide like that in America. But we hear what happened to John? Where's our John Waynes? Where's the man up thing? Where's the, how many unicorns is going to join the army when we get attacked? You know what I mean?
Oh boy, you got patient zero on your show tonight.
Yeah. I knew I found the monkey that started the virus.
I don't know if I started it, but I'm definitely infected. I don't know if you caught the bit last night, but my new closing bit is about me not being able to drive a stick shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I always save it for the end. I didn't say it, but I usually say, hey, I saved this bit for the end because it's gonna make a lot of you not like me. And no matter how it goes, I'm leaving. However this goes, I'm leaving. But I'm definitely. It's this weird era we live in because I'm not manly at all. I'm scared of a gas grill that I have at my house.
Like you don't want to light it?
Nah, it's old wiring. It looks like it's going to explode. It came with the rental, right?
Right.
So I'm like that, but I still take a boxing class every day of the week. So it's like this weird...
It's a weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking a hit in the head, but I am not going to light a grill.
I'm not messing with propane, but I'll go punch
I'll take the pain, but I won't mess with the propane.
Yeah. So it's this weird... I guess new age masculinity. I don't know what to call it.
New age masculinity.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely an episode of Remasculate, because we have now found new age masculinity.
Yeah.
And how do we find the center for new wave masculinity?
You go to hot yoga and you don't change your own oil, and you go to boxing. So it's like this weird mix of everything. Slowly you start to lactate. It's not a big deal.
As you slowly start to lactate, that's when you know you've hit full namaste. When you start to lactate,
when you just start leaking out of your nips, and they sell products on Amazon. You're good.
Little pads for that.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, well, let's start at the beginning for you. You're from Hungary, is what originally from Hungary.
Yeah, I was born in Budapest, and my mom and I moved when I was 4. We actually landed in the United States on the 4th of July. We didn't know.
God bless America.
Yeah, we didn't know it was a holiday. We came in, we saw fireworks from the plane.
You thought they were under attack.
No, my mom was like, I don't know, they like blowing stuff up, I guess. I don't know, this is our new home. And so 4th of July is a big deal for us. And I lived in Pittsburgh for a few years, but mainly raised in San Diego.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps explain the new age masculinity.
Yeah, maybe. San Diego's weird because we're such a big military town. Mm-hmm. So there's still a lot of there's not a lot of people that live in San Diego that are from there.
It's very transient.
Yeah, it's very transient, but there's still I know a lot of people that grew up there, but for the most part, the overall mass is from somewhere else. Yeah. Whether because of the military or we're big into biotech now over the last 10 years.
Really?
A lot of biotech companies in San Diego.
Like what are they doing or inventing? Or
I have friends that work in the biotech, and I don't know. I hang out with them. They don't
really know.
It's one of those
we're working on something,
right? Yeah. Where they're telling me, and I don't understand. It's like out of my pay grade, and I'm just like, okay, sure.
Well, that's one of the things. I wonder if that's one of those companies. Probably not. It sounds too. That's more like we're trying to synthesize kneecaps back into viable bone, or one of those kind of things.
Right.
But I've always wondered, I know there's chemists. How did you come up with flavors that taste like stuff?
Yeah, that's
what kind of laboratory and chemists and people sit around and I actually got this to taste exactly like vomit. These are going to be great jelly beans. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Every time I go to the dentist and they have a new flavor of...
what floss would you like?
Yeah. You want cinnamon? You want bubble gum? How'd you make it taste like bubble gum I've never bought before?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still tastes like it.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how it's got to be chemically synthesized?
Oh, absolutely.
So how do they make it taste exactly like, this is a ham and cheese sandwich, potato chip?
I'm so low tech, I don't know how anything works. I don't know how that computer works. I'm not really sure how that alarm clock works. I get it. I get that smart people put it together, but if they're we could break it apart right now and go, you see this? I'm like, yeah, but how'd you make this piece that does this thing, that sets to this thing, Yeah,
but I don't know if you've noticed, you're a clock dock there that's in this ship. We're recording from the ship cabin right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've noticed, but that is such outdated technology.
Oh yeah, because that's for the old phones.
It's for the old phones.
Yep. That's why it's not a good idea. Don't even listen. If you're opening a hotel, if you happen to be listening to this and you're opening the new Hyatt, whatever, don't buy the alarm clock with the plug-in to the phone, because whatever the phone is today, it won't be the plug-in in 5 years.
Yeah, that is the old Apple plugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the new pin plugs. They're not the.
I bet you nobody's brought a phone onto this thing that fits that in over 6-7 years.
Probably. And I have an adapter. I actually have an adapter because.
Oh, they can adjust to that.
Yeah, to that. But if you put the adapter on that, my phone is too wide for the slot.
It doesn't matter.
Because it's the 10
so
now.
It still doesn't matter.
Still doesn't matter.
Oh, man. And you're not supposed to plug directly into anything, someone told me, because the thing will steal your information. So, when you charge at the airport, and you either can plug into a plug, or you can take your USB and go direct.
Yeah, conspiracy theory, Carl. Talk to me.
What is that? my buddy used to. He's a comic, Jose Barrientos, but he used to work in the military, and he's a big hacker. I think he has a government job now. But But yeah, he's the one that told me that. He goes, don't plug into that. Someone can rig that and then steal all the information off your phone. And I was like, I didn't know that. So now I just travel with a portable charger.
I have two portable chargers.
So I don't even have to hunt for a plug. But back when I did.
You know, a lot of them now, when you plug in, they will say, would you like to allow access to your phone? Have you seen?
No, because I haven't plugged in so long.
Okay. But yeah, you plug in, it'll say allow access.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Hell no.
Hell no. This is a charge only.
Yeah.
But I've thought that too, especially when you're sitting somewhere and it's just a little USB plug, and you think, if I plug this in, it's like my computer, doesn't it? Just go, yeah, I'm uploading it to iTunes,
Right.
you know.
And that's so funny because I maybe I'm just never aware. I never thought of that until my buddy brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah. I'm like the you know how they say like the populace is kind of like on the average dumb, and they don't think I'm definitely that. Like but once someone brings it up to me, I won't forget.
Well, I think I told you this the other night. The thing that I like to consider myself aware and I pay attention.
Like you're proactive about being aware.
Yeah. And proactive to the point that it's almost an addiction. You know,
okay.
That you know, to several people on the internet, I've actually become like this. Hey, McGrew, tell us what this is about. You know, I'm like their version of. Hey, I saw this. What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening?
Well, let me tell you. You know, because that's how. But that becomes almost conspiracy-like because you start paying attention to everything you read, and you can see the dots that are connected.
Yeah.
So my point being, I thought I was on top of things until the other day when somebody was talking about computer data, stealing your computer data or keeping your computer data safe. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that was your name, address, social security numbers, credit cards.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this.
Remember this? I was telling you about this? And somebody says, no, it's your likes.
Yeah.
What you like. That they can tell everything about you within 25 likes.
Right.
And I had never thought about that, of all the stuff that my head has been in and wrapped around, and been like, what? What do you? Wait? And then when you think about it, you're like, well, I liked that story.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that food. Oh, that's a great product. I might have to try that.
And they build a profile.
And they just build a profile on you.
And after you told me that the other night, I thought about it, and I go, 25 likes, because you're like, that's so little. That's such a small sample size. But if you think about it, like, isn't that what they do when you go on a old school like speed dating?
Yeah.
Or, not speed dating, but like some kind of dating service. They have you fill out a little profile.
Yeah.
They wouldn't ask you.
Do you like cats?
Yeah. They'd probably do it in 10 questions.
Are you a dog person?
Yeah, exactly. Are you
Most conservatives are dog persons. You know, they've already broken it down to whatever those are.
They'll separate you off. Is your dog wearing a handkerchief? All right, it's a rescue.
You're a bohemian type.
Right, yeah, then it's something else. But they can break us down. We're not that complex. I mean, we are, but I guess you can narrow someone down in 25 things you click.
Well, you know what I just don't understand about a lot of people is how things don't open their eyes. Like you said, you hadn't thought of that to your friend. You're like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
But that opens your eyes.
Sure.
Where other things you can tell people the facts, they're like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, because it just sounds outrageous.
Yeah, but maybe that's how they keep things hidden, is to make it sound outrageous.
Sure.
You know, because a lot of times you'll think, no, this is really... Yeah, that's like the plot of some goddamn science fiction movie.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to because I've been reading a lot of like I read 1984 a couple of years ago, and then a bunch of books like it. Brave New World, the Russian novel We that inspired 1984, and the thing I learned about it. It's funny because like I think we're on the same track. We're just taking two different roads on it. You're like the main character in these books going, what the hell is going on?
Is nobody paying attention?
Yeah. And I'm like the side characters in that book going, rather not know. like the side piece characters, like, I think something's going on, but...
Yeah, just don't...
There's a fight on I'm going to go watch. I'm going to go watch some UFC.
Well, but that is more sane. That, to me, that is more... You're the side character than the one that's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I got cake.
That's true. Yeah.
Somebody threw down some slop. I'm going to eat it.
I'm the cake guy. Absolutely.
You know,
it's just I don't know, different sides of the same coin, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of weird and science fiction, you just brought this up about the people that are going to flash mob Area 51.
It's planned for September. I had the date. It's happening in September. It was trending on Twitter.
Look it up, people.
They made a Facebook invite.
Yeah.
So, everyone knows.
Yeah, here's what you do. Yeah. We're going to flash mob, but tell everybody.
When I looked at it, it was 300,000 people. You said it's up to 600,000.
Yeah, I saw it this afternoon, 600,000.
I want to see how many people actually show up.
That's going to look. We invited 600,000. 19 showed up.
Yeah. It's kind of like when we put an event out there for one of our shows.
Right.
And it would be like 100 people interested.
Yeah.
And then you get like 10% of that. But, if you get 10% of 600,000, that's still a good amount of people that get shot by the government.
Well, what That's true. Well, what do you think they expect to achieve by flash mobbing Area 51? What is the...
I don't know. I guess...
We've got the truth! We found an alien!
I hope they have a better plan. Let's say they break in, right?
Yeah.
They get through the outer fence, then they get through whatever other fence, and then all the doors. So what, you just start stealing hard drives and running out with them, and so someone can
hoping you got something good on it? Or...
Yeah, hoping you didn't just get a bunch of old emails that were a bunch of spam.
Or do these idiots sort of think that it's going to be like Independence Day, where there's that spaceship behind glass and a couple of tubes with aliens floating in them?
Yeah.
And, is that what they see in their mind's eye?
Yeah. And how does that bother you? Because you're into, you're into like being aware, but then you get clumped in with conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
And then there's like conspiracy theorists like these people that are going to show up to this thing. I don't know if...
I have a video character that I do called Conspiracy Theory Carl. That's what
okay. And that's the caricature of those people.
Of those guys. It's just so far, I don't know if you know this or not, but when you turn in your cell phone, when they say you can change it for a new one, they swab that thing for your saliva and get your DNA. And they're taking your DNA and they're mixing it with animals. It's like a Dr. Moreau Island thing. They're going to come up with new strains of you. It's that kind of...
Starts going down the Alex Jones thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt. I mean, this is slightly related. I grew up a big pro wrestling fan, all right? And the reason I did is because when you're 4 years old and you don't speak English, you can understand wrestling.
Ooh, slash smash!
Yeah. You don't have to know the words. It's good guy versus bad guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, grew a big wrestling fan, but I didn't go to a live show until I was 10. So it was 6 years there. And then my mom took me to the sports arena in San Diego to watch live pro wrestling, and I was there with like 5,000 other pro wrestling
Screaming
fans.
pro wrestler fans.
And then I got to look at these fans, and then that's when I realized wrestling wasn't cool. And so that's what I mean, like you're into this stuff, but you see that other edge of conspiracy theorists, and you're like, oh, you like this too?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, now you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that other angle.
Well,
and there's wrestling fans I do like.
Yeah.
But then there's like the toothless like wrestling fans who are like, oh man, you're in this group too. I forgot.
Well, that's one of the things that I've talked about before. Maybe not on here, but is that I always think the society has niches for things. Like, there should always be like wrestling. Back in the 50s and 60s was a small little thing. There were the little coliseums, and there was a few shows, and then it becomes this
cable hit,
and millions of people are watching it. Yeah. That was a bad sign for me, because you know what I mean? Like, there always should be like those, I love wrestling. If I ain't watching figure 8 NASCAR, I can watch some guys smash each other with a chair.
Absolutely.
But when millions go, oh, I freaking love this.
Yeah.
That's a hint of a problem to me.
Sure. That's when Mike Judge probably started writing Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and I've always said, I put this on Twitter just recently, it's the person that spots the trend and the person that reports the trend is the one they think is the nut job.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's always the first person who's going to go, I think the Earth revolves around the sun. You're crazy, that kind of.
Yeah.
There's so when you start going, you guys aren't paying attention to this trend. Are you seeing the?
Do you feel like that common trend is still going on, or
every once in a while, especially even more now when the things like reality TV, when the Kardashians are as big as they are, and you can't realize it's fake, it's false, they can't act.
Well, now we're getting into just like wrestling. It's like you can tell it's fake and false, and instead of it dying out, people are like more and more. Oh.
I need to make a show about. And how many people in real life show up at a restaurant with their exes there and get into a brawl and flip a table?
You know what? You need to come to San Diego. I'm yeah, it's all just wild. I mean, it was back in the 90s when Jerry Springer was popular.
Yeah.
There's no way all those people,
Yeah.
There's a bunch of actors. But
Well, that's the talk shows before Jerry were always like Dick Cavett. They were intelligent talk shows.
Sure.
They would talk and at discussions, or Phil Donahue would have a scientist or a writer on.
Yeah.
And they say something, and I'd be watching at home, like, man, I never thought about that before.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it turned in. You don't know me. You don't know me.
Yeah.
Let me talk. Let me talk. You know, you're like, well, this is society's headed down a wrong path. I was like pointing that out like 20 years ago. Like, this is not good. When all of a sudden you start going, you know, two nuns that like to pretend that they're antelope. You know, I'm just pulling stuff out of my butt.
Sure.
Has to be outdone the next week.
Yeah, you keep pushing the
You
envelope.
have to push the envelope, you know.
It kind of makes sense for if you figure people flipping the channel, and you're like, what do you watch? And you pass by Phil Donahue talking to an author about his latest release.
Yeah.
Like a really calm conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and then you flip over and there's like a guy in a cop uniform beating like a guy in a Ku Klux Klan outfit. And you're like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
or
go
somebody
back to
screaming
that.
with a handful of weave.
Sure.
You hear, you're like, whoa, what's happening here?
What's happening there? So like, and then that goes to the clickbait, what we were talking about now, like the titles of articles and articles that decide to get written because
they're not real articles. They're just
trying to get people to click go.
on.
Yeah.
They're just idea. What was that one today? Is climate change causing people to not have children?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's going to make people click.
It's going to make people click, and then stupid people will just go by the headline. Because I get that all the time when I
never
post
read the
something.
article.
I go, you didn't read the fucking article. Mm-hmm. I go, I'll post something with this is great news. I know it's not. You didn't read the article.
Yeah, it said
you
in here.
just read the headline.
Right.
Like, people think it's like social media has made everybody think they're important. Like, it's given them a voice.
Yeah. And who would have thought that, like, giving everyone a voice was a giant mistake? Because we live in the land of freedom of speech.
Right.
Which giving everyone a voice has kind of, like, pushed back on that. Where now we're censoring ourselves. It's really... man, all those authors had it right 100 years ago.
Yeah, but things are, as I told you earlier, words matter, you know, and there was a whole lot of stuff that you don't hear anymore that I heard as a child that makes you smarter.
Okay.
Like it's better to be thought an idiot to speak and then remove all doubt was like one of those things.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that you're like, if I don't know this, I'm just not going to, don't say it.
Yeah, no one wants to shut up anymore.
You know what I mean? There's things that you heard.
Yeah.
There were sayings that you were told. Like, I really wouldn't say that until you know that for a fact.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but people now are like, whatever I think is important, whatever I have to say.
Yeah.
You know?
I ran into that a lot at the mechanic shop. That was the last real job I had before I was able to go full-time into stand-up. And because online, you can find a way to fix any issue with your car. But there's a lot of difference between watching a 5-minute video of someone do it and you hands-on doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And my boss, who is a real character, and I love that guy. He's still around. He's doing great. But there was one of his friends who's one of these guys. He called him one of these internet guys. Coming in here, thinks he saw a YouTube video. He can do it. He goes, all right. I think his truck needed new injectors. He had a big diesel, right? And he goes, you know what? You can use all my tools. Use the shop. I want to see you do it because you just showed me this video that said he did it in 5 minutes. 3 days later, the guy says, I can't do it. Please fix my truck. But he was there 3 whole days, 3 8-hour shifts. And he couldn't get it done. And I love that he did that just to prove his point that, listen, just because that guy did it on the internet, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he is a pro at it.
Yeah, guess what?
He had all the expertise, the knowledge, the tools, the knowledge of the tools.
Absolutely. And you don't know dick just because you watched the video. And it's the same people like, oh, I read the headline, so now I know the story.
Yeah.
You didn't read the story.
Yeah.
So you don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, like one of the ones that caused a fight on my Facebook was the headline said that Trump surrenders fight on census question. He's been wanting to do the
Are you a citizen?
citizen.
Yeah.
Well, but the article said he's giving up the fight. He's going straight for the executive order. He's not going to.
Oh, he's giving up the fight through the courts.
Yeah, that's what the headline is written.
Surrender.
Yeah. But the article says, no, he's not going to fight anymore. He's just going to go. But, when somebody is writing the headlines for a more liberal paper,
sure,
the words that are used, word specific.
Yeah.
But read the article.
People don't like reading that stuff. I always get the things that make people hot. Like, you ever see an article where it's like, well, no one can get mad at this. Who would get mad at this? This is great.
Yeah.
And then you go into the comments, you're like, boy, was I wrong. Everyone is pissed. Like, there was this one in San Diego where, like, a local San Diego County something is giving away 2,000 car seats to, like, underprivileged people. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Why did I have to pay for mine?
Yeah. But if you read the article, like, the funds were taken from a thing, and they had to spend the money, and then they had these families that were, like, just strapping their kids to, like, I don't know what they were doing.
Strapping them to boards.
Yeah, but I guess people's minds work different ways, but I read the article, I'm like, oh, no one could be mad at this, and then, sure enough, boy, was I wrong. Everyone was pissed.
Yeah.
Those kids fly out the window.
When I was on radio, I interviewed a city councilman who told us that once a program gets started, they don't stop.
Right.
Because no one wants to be that person. Like you said, it takes the money away from that and that from that.
Kills the program.
And he said that's why if you really look into a lot of programs, there's 3 or 4 that do, or even more. Like in California, there's like almost 19 that do the exact same thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's just a slightly different version. You know, this is money for children. This is money for children with this. This is money for children with milk and cheese.
Absolutely.
But this is money for children with milk and cheese that gets delivered to your house.
Yeah.
And there's like...
They keep stepping it up.
Instead of just getting rid of the one or the other, they just keep
adding it up.
It on, and nobody wants to be the one to go, hold on, we're going broke.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do that. California does that. We have the highest gas taxes, which everyone's upset about.
It's pretty amazing, the girls' gas taxes.
Yeah, I know. Every time I go to another state and I have a rental car, I'm like, oh yeah, look at this gas.
Wow, $2. What the hell?
They're giving it away. I don't know. I always try to keep it positive because everything's more expensive in California. So I go work in Boise, Idaho, which I don't know if you've ever been.
I love Boise.
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Like when you bring up Boise to people and they've never been, they kind of crinkle their nose and I'm like, oh, you need to go. It's great.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. One of the prettiest things ever.
But one of my favorite, I like an old fashioned. It's one of my favorite cocktails. And my favorite one is in Boise, Idaho at the Red Feather downtown. And I said that on stage one night, and I go, hey, after the show, we're going to the Red Feather. If you guys want to come down, have some cocktails. And someone in the audience goes, oh, you don't want to go there? Those drinks are $8. And I go, well, I live in San Diego, and that's why I'm going there, because that's a $15 drink where I live. So now
it's still cheaper.
It's still cheaper, yeah. So I try to look at it positive, like, yeah, gas prices and everything's way more expensive in California, but then when I do go on the road, everything's now a lot cheaper. Unless I'm in, like, New York City or Seattle or, San Francisco's in the same state. But, unless I go to one of those other places, then it's all the same.
Well, when did you decide that you wanted to become a comic? You said you were talking about your previous job. Was there something... So you never... Did you always want to be a comic?
No, I've always... It was like that thing I guess I've always known I should have done. Because I was, like, in school, I was always good at the presentation, speaking in front of the class, but I was never good at the test taking. But no, I grew up in a trailer park, so I wanted to be a professional wrestler. Those are our heroes. Those are our gods. Like, those are our mayors, So I wanted to do that, and then I have a bad shoulder. I was going to have shoulder surgery when I was 19, and I was like, well, I'm going to need to do something while I'm in a thing doing rehab, so I went to an open mic, and I bombed, and then I went back the next week, and I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with comedy, and I ended up booking a gig, and so I canceled my surgery. So my arms are still... I have an arm longer than the other. My shoulders are trashed, which is better. I would have never made it in pro wrestling. I don't even like working out. And that's how I got into stand-up. But I was always a fan. I haven't told you this yet, but I grew up on your Comedy Central Presents.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. That first crop... so there's like guys like you, Attell, Gaffigan, all those guys, like in that, I guess like the first 3 or 4 years that they were doing it. Yeah, I grew up on all those guys, including your hour.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was a fan.
Thank
Still
you.
am. Yeah.
I actually, I had a comic not long ago, Ben Roy. I don't know if you know.
I know Ben Roy.
Ben Roy had sent me a nice letter about that I had been an influence on him, that he had always looked at like how I could kill a room, whether it was 5 people or 500 people or 5,000 people. They were all getting that same. And he goes, that's what I wanted to destroy. Kind of that you want that kind of
effort.
Of effort. You know?
Putting
And
in
I was
there.
like, oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. So,
Watching guys like you and everyone else that had those half hours in that era, I think that was the reason I was like, well, I can't do that. Those guys are great. I mean, they're writing their own stuff and being hilarious. And then, I eventually started doing. I'm like, oh, I can do it in my own certain way. Like I can tell my little stories like I do. But yeah, big influence.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. A little background about that special
Yeah.
was I had gotten my set approved by the Comedy Central. You have to you have to have your set approved, censors and all that kind of stuff. And I got to New York ahead of time, and I kind of got to thinking, New Yorkers aren't going to get my Texas water park jokes.
Oh.
They're not going to get they're not going to understand, because it's kind of like reading an audience. You walk to a club and you think, married couples more than single couple. I
Right.
better change this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to change my set at the last minute. Like, I just want to do something else.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, and I had to go sit with people and get some stuff approved, like
Wow.
reapproved, and it was kind of a hassle.
I bet.
And and then I got a standing ovation at the taping, and they told me to go back out and do some more, do a little bit more time. Well, a lot of the extra time is what's actually in the.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I've always been, in my head, why don't they just turn comics loose?
Right.
Just go do your thing, and we'll edit this and make it whatever we can use on, just so you don't sit there kind of nervous, like, oh, I have to say these exact words. I have to say it in this exact order. I have to,
From what I've heard, my friends that have done a set on Conan, they're like that. They're more loose about it. Like, they'll go back and forth with you on the emails, going, hey, do this joke here, you and JP, like, you got to move stuff around. But then once it comes down to the taping, they're pretty loose on, like, you can do kind of what you want, in a sense. So that's cool. But yeah, they should definitely do that. I mean, like the famous story with Mitch Hedberg, but he bombed his half-hour taping.
Yeah.
And all of that was laugh-tracked.
Yeah.
And it ended up... And
it's like, people are like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah. But like layman's like me at the time when I was watching, I didn't know that was laugh-tracked. I just thought he was killing.
Yeah.
He even sat down in defeat at one point. And in my head, I'm like, nah, that's just what he does.
Yeah, he's got to just...
He's super cool, I guess.
I worked with him a lot when he was still with us.
Yeah.
And did Vegas a bunch, and did Atlanta a few times with him. And he was always an up and down act.
Yeah,
as good as he was, and I'm a fan, because the turkey. I used to draw you. Those like
great
there's
joke.
his lines, but for general public, they're like, what is this?
Yep.
What is this?
There's no other gear. Like, so if it's not going well, he can't kick it into another gear and turn it around. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
It's either going to be this crowd loves him or they don't get what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's when, like you were saying, it's better for people to come see you.
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
I am doing this show. I only need my fans to come here, because if I just get, somebody like him gets just put up in a, who's here this week? Oh God, what's this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a
they're
different.
Like, I'm on vacation, and what is this? I've never seen comedy done this way. Which he's amazing, but yeah, I could totally see it not hitting sometimes.
Yeah.
I could see that being a possibility. Yeah, there's two places I struggle in stand-up, and cruise ships I'm hit or miss, even though they're very nice and they work me. That's how I feel about my sets, just hit or miss. And then Vegas, anytime the comedy show for the audience is just on the list of like 20 things they're doing that day, is a time when it's not like, I do way better when I'm in a town and they're going to comedy and that's the main part of their evening.
Right.
They might
We're
have
going out tonight.
Yeah, they might have dinner before and drinks after.
They weren't at the pool all day. They didn't do karaoke.
Yeah,
they didn't just watch the ice show.
Right.
And before we go to bed, you want to go see this guy?
Yeah. That's I do way better. And on ships, I'll have good sets, and then I'll have sets where I'm like, man, I think I could have lit myself on fire, and they would have stared at me. So yeah, it's good to be versatile. That's why I watched you get standing ovations this week on a couple of the shows. I'm like, Jesus. That's why when the other day when the host was like, hey, are you guys going to switch? I go, I hope not. Is that what he said?
Told her, I go, whatever he wants to do, because
Hell
I don't
no.
want to be the one that...
I don't want to follow a standing ovation. I've never gotten a standing ovation in my life. No, he goes second.
He goes second. Do you know Mike Wilson, another comic?
No.
He's been around for a long time. Does a lot of ships. Does a lot of. He posted on my Facebook the other day because I said something about having a good. He goes wrote. The one guy that I never want to follow.
There you go.
He's like, he says, the one guy.
Yeah, I got. There's just killers out there. You're amongst one of them, and there's other guys that they're not as higher up as you are, but I don't know if you know Paulo Gata.
Oh yeah, Paul's been one of my best friends for a long time.
Paulo Gata's another one I don't want to ever go after.
Yeah,
like I've seen that guy. He was the first real headliner I saw coming up. I was maybe in comedy less than a year, and we happened to be on the same show because he lives in San Diego, and I watched him. I'm like, oh, that's a headliner. That's how you headline right there. Yeah. He murdered. And I learned so much from watching him, like how to ignore a heckler.
Oh, I never.
Until it gets so obnoxious and then you nail them. Yeah. And then everyone's on board. Yeah. Instead of jumping right on as soon as they peck up a little bit.
Nothing's worse than having a comic go, what'd you say?
Yes.
Because the audience didn't hear it either.
No. Just you, because you're being hyper-vigilant, heard it.
Yeah.
And I learned that from him early on.
And a lot of times if you ignore them, they completely go away.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no need to pick a fight.
He only hammered him once it was so loud and so obvious. Everyone knew it. And then he knocked him down. Everyone went, yay, shut up. And then he went right back into a show. I'm like, that's how you do that. That's really cool. So yeah. I love watching guys that just take this profession so seriously and so well that you get to learn just from being an audience member and watching, being a fan.
Well, this is, I always tell people that you can be a good comic and not do it full time, but it takes doing it full time if you want to do it great. Yeah. Because you can be like Dan the funny lawyer.
Yes.
And you're all right. You got some good things. Yeah. But until your life depends on it,
then you're in
and then you're into it, and you know that you need to get hired back, and you need to kill, and you need the word of mouth to go. Jesus, you haven't had him at your club.
You got to have this guy. He's gonna rip the paint off the walls. Yeah. No, it's there's a big difference between doing it part-time and I get a career, but I do this on the weekend sometimes. I get to host at the local.
How often you get, hey, do you know such and such? He's a comic too.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got a cousin that does comedy in San Diego. Really?
Yeah, I get that.
And then you don't want to bust their dream by going, no, he doesn't. He's an Uber driver that does open mic.
That's actually a light I've used sometimes to do on stage where in San Diego, I do it specifically. I go, I do this. I'm a comedian. I don't mean I'm an Uber driver after this. I mean, this is it. This is all that I do. There's no anything else. But it's great. Yeah, it took 9 years to get there, which I guess I could have gotten there sooner, but my mom always instilled in me that you need to be financially stable.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't take the dive until I booked a bunch of colleges at a big NACA.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, now I have to quit because I'm never home.
Right. Or you got the whole thing, my parents were always about, you need something to fall back on. That's great, but you need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
You got to have a...
Right.
When where my dad, because I went to school for art. That's why I went to college for art. And there's a lot of starving artists. There's a lot of starving art. You need to at least have a career or something. You
need money.
Yeah. So, but I ended up, I was the cartoonist for the Houston newspaper. So
cool.
I got, I was an artist. That's what it was. So for years I was a cartoonist for that, and then I wanted to do stand up. I was doing stand up at night. And Sam Kinison talked me into, I've said this on here before, Sam Kinison talked me into leaving my day job to become a full-time comic.
Wow.
And my dad was like, "Oh, why would you want to leave a job? You got before it was that job was you might need something to fall back on.
Right.
But now it's a
job.
So now it's a job. Why are you going to leave a job? You need something you can." And so I think you're constantly having to prove to your parents that
Absolutely.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah. My mom's I wish I had her work ethic, but she's a tough lady, always had multiple jobs. But yeah, she was big on that. She goes, follow your dreams.
Yeah.
She's big on following your dreams, but also I'm not going to subsidize it. So don't ever call me for rent money. And if you ever need food, I will be there.
Yeah.
But clothes, rent, your car insurance, car payments, none of that's me.
Right.
That's all you.
Hey, your mom sounds a lot like me and mine.
Yeah. My brother's going through it now. I have a younger brother. He just graduated high school, and my mom had been coddling him. What I thought was way more than I got.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Because last one, baby.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But he just graduated, and that poor kid has gotten the hammer dropped on him.
He's not ready for the real world.
She's like, party's over. You're not getting a full-time job. You're going to school. I'm not. And I go, what if he gets full courses at school? Are you going to help him then? She goes, no. You're going to because I know he's not going to take it seriously, is what she said. He didn't take high school seriously. Why would he take college seriously?
No.
So yeah, go to college, take all the classes you want. You still got to go work. So yeah, my mom's because she did it all. You know?
Well, I always say it drives me nuts when I hear people say, I can't make this a minimum wage. I can't do this. Well, you're not supposed to.
Right.
And I've always been one like your mom to work 3 jobs or 2 jobs. I mean, at one point, even in the past few years, I had 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I was doing comedy, radio, and had a band. And I'd look at my calendar and think, what date is this? Is this comedy or my band playing somewhere?
Yeah.
So, when people say, I can't do it, you lazy, go get off your ass. And
it's
$15 to flip a burger? I'm not paying that.
Yeah, it's not, I don't, like, the fast food thing is not the thing. But my buddy's my neighbor. He's been my best friend since we were 12. I was talking about him on stage.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver. He drives for Old Dominion. We live in the same tiny studio. Not the same one. He has a separate studio. We have the same landlord, is what I'm saying. And, our rent's $1,300 a month. And I go...
For a studio?
Yeah. Yeah. We live... tiny place.
Studio.
Yeah. So I was talking to him, because we were talking about this, the $15 minimum wage, and I go... we make good money. Like, if we lived anywhere else in the country, I think we'd be able to own a home or pay a mortgage. Like, and so, not that I'm not for $15 an hour for flipping burgers, but you got to bring the prices down. Because if we're making good money and living like this, what the hell do people do that have like 3 part-time jobs and trying to scrape, and they still make half of what we make?
Oh, but we need to have these taxes this high because we have to pay for the health care of the illegals.
Yeah, I don't have health care. I paid the fine.
You're starting to, you see, this is one of the things I appreciated about you with watching you, because I know you do that joke about
my tax joke.
Your tax joke, which is a very good joke, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Very
I'm glad
good.
you like it.
And it's a crowd pleaser and I definitely am one of the guys, like you say, like he's seeing the light.
Sure. And I'm not politically, I'm like a moderate that definitely leans more left, but I've never judged anyone. we were talking about this earlier. I'm more into, I see what you're saying. Here's this other view. Maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Right.
But that's very unpopular today. The things that get attention are like radical this way or radical that way. Yeah. And my old boss, I know I bring him up. He's like a father figure in my life. He and I couldn't be further apart on politics. He's as far right-wing, I think, as you can get. And I never argued with him at work because it was his place.
There's no reason.
Yeah, there's no reason, and I didn't bring my bullshit into it. But he said something that always stuck with me. We were talking about something, and we had differing opinions, and he goes, you know what? Life makes you who you are. And I was like, God, I love that statement. Because that works for either side.
Yeah.
Hey, your life experience from the time you were born to the time we are here has based your opinion on all these certain things, whether it's political or social or whatever. And mine. So, and it doesn't make yours wrong or mine wrong. It just means we're coming from different angles.
Yeah, but I like your description, or like his description, much better than I hate my truth. When people go, this is my truth.
Because it's so arrogant.
Truth is the truth.
Yeah. It's arrogant.
Yeah.
That means
this is my truth. I'm speaking truth to power. No, you're just
There isn't someone said this in a YouTube thing. There's actually a pro wrestler who's actually...
What?
Yeah, I know. I don't think he made up this quote. He probably read it somewhere. But he goes, there isn't a lower form of intelligence than opinion. Because opinion comes from, this is just what I believe. It's like saying, this is my truth.
Yeah.
Like,
Bacon is the best meat ever.
it's...
Have you ever had a T-bone? No, doesn't matter. You ever had... Bacon is the best meat ever.
Have you ever had a filet mignon with bacon wrapped around the outside? The best part's the inside. Anyway, people's opinions started becoming facts to them instead of just being like, an opinion, man.
Yeah,
That's just how you feel.
Yeah, and then you can go, an opinion's like an asshole. Everybody has one. Oh my God, why would you talk down to me like that?
Yeah.
Why would you? You're just discounting my.
Correct.
You're just like.
No.
Yes, I am. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like people just don't really put people in their place anymore. That sounds bad and weird, but yes, people need to be like, you are as dumb as dirt. Please shut the fuck up. Your opinion is not going to help anybody.
Sure. I think it's a responsibility unto ourselves. Like these people that talk that way and are very steadfast in their beliefs, like I'm definitely right and everyone else is pretty wrong. It's on us to look in the mirror and go, hey man, how many mistakes have you made in life? I know I've made a lot. So I don't know what the answers are, but I definitely know I don't know.
How do you defend somebody that like AOC, who says, well, if we don't fix it doesn't matter, the world's going to end in 12 years anyway.
Well, she's one of those. She got popular along the same ways that Trump did on buzzwords. He was remembered from interviews and speeches, not based on like the whole speech, but based on a line, And she's popular right now.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe she will become this big figure. I mean, she's a big figure now. She already has an acronym, for God's sakes.
AOC?
Yeah. Do you know it took me a month to figure out what the hell that meant?
Did it really?
Yeah. So I was like, what is AOC?
Why do people saying AOC?
Yeah.
Why do they keep saying that?
Yeah, I thought it was like something like Antifa. And I'm like, is there a new group? What is AOC? And then I realized,
Is that like SOS, 6 Seconds of Summer, or whatever?
I don't like it when
band,
people, yeah. Because I'll watch news, but then I'll fall off for a little bit, and then they'll change the wording on stuff, and then start throwing acronyms to things that used to just be the whole thing. And I'd be like, stop doing that, all right? Some people are jumping in 6 episodes later, all right?
Do I have to go back and binge watch the news just to find out what's...
What did you guys...
I gotta watch 6 seasons of CBS News to...
It's, But yeah, we were talking about this, because I watched I feel like the debates now between the Democrats is the way it looked on the Republican side in 2015, where it was just a lot of them. They had an undercard, right? They had 2 nights of debates because there's too many.
Yeah.
And that was like what I watched in 2015. And it's interesting. Everyone's just trying to get their buzzwords out there, but I don't know if anyone's putting too many plans.
I can't remember the woman's name, but my favorite, I should know this, and I apologize to listeners, and I know you'll know, but is the one that was like, I'm running on love. Love is my platform.
Oh, okay.
I will beat Trump on the field of love. Did you see? You saw her? I can't remember her name, but that was her whole, even her delivery. It was like, Trump has just brought hate to this, and hate is what I'm against, and I will be... What?
Well...
What life guru are you?
If she wins, PE classes will be hot yoga. I think that's what it would be. Yeah. That's, I don't know. I was open... we'll see. Someone in the middle. I was going to vote Republican in 2015. That's why I was watching all the debates, because I voted for Obama. Now everyone that listens to this will be like,
oh, we hate him. We hate him. We sort of liked him for a second.
I'm a sensible guy. Anyway, I was going to vote Republican, but like all the people I thought were like decent candidates got kicked out like immediately. I was like, oh, he seems sensible, and everyone's like, we hate him. I was like, all right. Oh, he seems knowledgeable and charismatic. And then he's out. And then he, like, all the people I thought were all right didn't even make, like, top 100. So, and that also ties in anytime I'm in Vegas with sports gambling.
Yeah.
Oh, I watch sports. Let me bet on this. And then none of those teams ever win anything. So, just my luck.
I am kind of like, my wife is like that with TV shows. Like she'll watch, oh, I love this show.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hit. And I go, it'll be gone in 2 episodes. And then she's like, why do you curse my shows? Well, I'm not cursing. I'm just telling, she thinks that because like, why do you always curse my favorite shows? Because I can tell it's not going to make it. I can.
How many shows hang around for more than 2 seasons now anyway?
Not too many.
Not too many. Only the real, I'll say cream of the crop. It doesn't mean
Big
I like
Bang
them.
Theory.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory is like 28 seasons or something, and I can't sit through an episode. But yeah,
they're 40-year-old college students, or whatever they
do you
were.
know how many millions of people love that show?
Oh, I know.
It's insane.
Bazinga, you know?
Yeah. And I like that show Modern Family. I think that show's funny. And that show's been on for like a decade, maybe longer.
Yeah.
But
and that kid has actually grown up. The Hispanic kid.
That kid's like driving now.
Yeah.
He's like voting in the next election. And he was like a baby when it started. But those are 2 shows, and other than that, every other show is like a season or 2. And then we like that show, and then they cancel it.
Yeah. I do like Young Sheldon. I do like...
I haven't watched it yet. I know
Young Sheldon. It's not done in typical sitcom form. It's more of the old style, Andy Griffith kind of where they...
Oh, nice.
It's... I think they call it 2-camera shoots,
Yeah.
where they, where you just, it's more of a real show.
Right, and there's not a live audience.
There's not a live audience, and I kind of like that. And the art direction, it's set in the 80s, and usually the art direction is, like, oh man, I had that shirt. Oh, look at that phone, that kind of.
I actually rewatched a lot of the Andy Griffith episodes when I travel.
They withstand the test of time.
They stand, and then they're nice because instead of watching like House of Cards or like I don't know like Game of Thrones, whatever the new hot show is, you can't go to sleep after one of those episodes. That's the most intense thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, they just cut that guy's head off.
Yeah, and then they had sex with it. They did a bunch of stuff, and then you can't go to sleep after that.
Yeah.
But Andy Griffith, you can watch it, you get a giggle, and then you just fall right asleep. You're fine.
That's why I do that. I just told you about Pluto TV, the app, Pluto TV.
Yeah, I still got to download it.
They have a channel called Classic TV, which they show Dick Van Dyke and like Andy Griffith and the Rebel, used to be the old Western. And it's almost like when that music kicks in at the end of an episode. I guess I'm out. The music is done, and you're like, that was a cute little 30 minutes. I'm tired.
It's good. They don't make shows like that anymore because everything's fighting for your attention.
Yeah.
And it has to be because we all watch TV with our phone in our hands now.
Yeah.
So where it's like here, but then we're tweeting and doing other crap on the phone.
Yeah, but that's why things don't last either.
Absolutely.
But people
because their
spot the trend. If you spot the trend, like I was saying, that's not working.
Yeah.
So why do we keep doing that if it's not working? If shows like you just said, Andy Griffith still holds up?
Yeah.
Because it's done right. It's done properly.
Because no one's going to pay attention to a new version of that.
The characters are like Cheers. You knew the
Great
character.
show.
You knew the character would say this.
Yeah.
It's not just giving every character a line. Every person is not the jokester.
Right. There's a straight man.
There's a straight man, and there's that, and Aunt B would be this, and that, and you had characters, and they're character-driven shows.
Absolutely.
And I remember one time in a meeting when I was in L.A., the kid that was on my show, Trailer Trash, that I had written, they were like, wow, the kid needs to be funnier. And I go...
Everybody's got to be hilarious on this damn.
And I go, my kid has never zinged me. I go, I have a child, and my kid has never zinged me. He says some funny stuff, but he's not the funniest guy in the room.
Right.
That's not real. And I was kicked under the table. My agent was there and was like tapping my foot under the table, like, shut up.
Yeah.
But, like, it's true.
Yeah.
That's why those shows work. You watch old shows, somebody would run into the room and say something, but it was a setup for the next. It wasn't like the kid ran in and, and out of the room.
Everyone's goddamn, hilarious in all of them. Yeah, that's actually one of my least favorite qualities of, like, the Judd Apatow movies.
Yeah, everybody talks like a tweet.
Yes. My least favorite scene is where, like, the two characters will just face off and yell punchlines at each other. And I'm like, I've never done that in my entire life.
No, I don't know anybody who talks like that.
Yeah, everyone just has, like, lines queued up. Who are these people? That's a good way to describe it. Everyone just talks like they're
tweeting at each other. I mean, that's the conversation. Not like I said this, but you topped me with that one. Well, the other guy over here.
Yeah.
There's the joke that got us out. So it's got to be pop, pop, pop. Nobody's like that. Life isn't like that.
It's not real life. But,
and that's why I can watch those shows and I go, it's poorly written. It's out. It's done.
Yeah, because they're focusing too much on the dialogue as opposed to like
The acting, the
like,
character. You got to love a character.
John Hughes movies.
Yeah.
Those they don't like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles gets watched at my house every year. My mom and I, we watch it because you love the character. You know, Steve Martin in that is not very funny.
No.
Steve Martin he's
the straight
heel.
man.
Yeah,
he's the Dean Martin
man.
to the...
Yeah. Yeah. And but now no one wants to really do that. Everything's less about character and more about, hey,
I want to be the funny one. Why does he get all the good lines? Why don't I? You know.
It's too bad.
Now, do you have an idea for a show? Everybody has an idea for a show. Like, we were talking earlier, I told you a couple of mine, but what do you...
Yeah.
If an agent said to you, I love you, kid, give me a pitch.
I would be, my first real job, I worked at a retirement home in high school as a waiter. And I thought and then later got promoted to janitor. So when I graduated, I was the janitor at the retirement home. They bumped me up to $11 an hour. So I took the pay raise.
Everybody loved you.
Yes, yeah. They made me paint all the rooms, but just all the different characters that were there.
Yeah.
You know, there's this one, Marianne Ravana. I still remember. She's long gone now, but she was this old Italian woman, big Coke bottle glasses, eyes. And she had, her memory was going. Like, she'd always forget who I was. She knew she remembered me, but she never remembered my name or anything.
Yeah. Hey, how are you today, son?
Yeah, kind of like that. But I remember one time they brought in there's a new resident, this new old guy came in, and one of the waitresses was like, hey, Marianne, meet Fred. Fred's new here. Maybe you could sit together at the table or something. And then Marianne looks at him and goes, oh, he looks like an old shit ass. And I don't know what I had in my hand, but I threw it on the ground and I started laughing my ass. And they're like, Marianne, that's not very polite. And he's like, well, he is. Like, she doubled down. And like, there's so many characters. Like, not all of them were hilarious. Obviously, there were some just...
yeah.
But it was such a great... I don't know. I think there's a lot of room for fodder there.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
That's been one of my problems that I have with American TV. There's not to ever distract you from this.
Sure.
I think that's a great idea. But there was a British show years ago called One Foot in the Grave about old people.
Oh.
And it was one of the funniest things because old people say funny stuff without meaning it.
Right.
Like you said, like, shit, like, that's hysterical. So, but imagine going to an executive in L.A. and going, I got a show.
About the elderly.
Yeah. Who is going to watch that?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the problem with it.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Where other places go, that's very creative. We haven't done that yet. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. There's no other show
There's no other, you know what I mean?
Centered around interesting elderly.
Yeah.
In a comedic sense, yeah.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite shows years ago in the UK was one called Dinner, I think it was called Dinner Ladies. And it was basically about older women, kind of a Golden Girls age thing, but with one young one that worked in a cafeteria, like a Furr's cafeteria.
Nice.
Imagine trying to pitch that to a bunch of women sit around and
have a better
pushing
chance.
trays. And
we'd have a better chance about pitching a sitcom about White Claws. Do you know about White Claws?
No.
They're a new alcoholic drink that's all the rage. I know you're sober, but they're a seltzer. They're like LaCroix with booze in them. And they're all the rage. Anyone between 21
So the flavored water with booze in it.
But they're big because low calories. They're only 100 calories per thing, but they taste better than a Michelob Ultra, you know?
Yeah.
And so we'd have a better time because that's so hot right now. We'd have an easier time pitching that with no story behind it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a show about White Claw and all these young people doing dumb crap with White Claw.
We'll just call the bar White Claw.
Yeah. That would get picked up way faster than either of these other ideas we've both done.
Oh, I know.
and these ideas have a lot more.
Because you have characters and storylines that you might be able to work off.
Like, we could get a sponsorship with White Claw.
That'd be great.
They'd pay for the production of the thing.
It's so wrong. It's so sad.
Man, it's a business. That's what I try to tell other comics that get mad when a YouTube star comes to town and they sell out and they go, man, and I go, the owner cares about an ass every 18 inches.
That's all they care about.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the rent is on a store downtown San Diego or any downtown?
I won't say the name of the club owner because I know they probably would not want me to badmouth YouTube stars.
Of course.
But this club owner said to me, yes, I know, but they're selling tickets.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for. She goes, yes, I have seen you get a standing ovation, and I watch them walk half the audience.
Oh,
and I
wow.
wish they were all buying tickets to see you.
But they're not. Yeah.
But I have to do this.
Yeah. And that's frustrating, but
Because YouTube people, most of them don't have any act. Like
Right.
we were talking earlier, they're meet and greets, or they're coming out and do a little, hi, this is my character, and here's the song, and want me to sign something for you? You know?
yeah. And for a majority of your career, it was like talent based.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, you had to submit. You had to submit tapes, and
Yeah, like people were fans of comedy, and they knew that their local comedy club had good acts every week. So
yeah,
depending on which week they went.
Yeah.
This I remembered. This is how every comedy club. I was working Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle for the first time. I headlined there last October, and they on their Facebook page they put up one of my videos like, "Hey, this week we have Zoltan, whatever."
Yeah.
And one of the comments read, "I don't need to watch this video. If he's playing at Mark Ridley's, he's funny." And I went, "That's the rapport every club needs to build with their
well,
community."
they all used to be like that. Used to
Yeah.
be it.
Right,
Let's
and-
just go to the comedy club this weekend. Who's
Yeah.
there? I don't know, but I've never had a bad time.
Yeah, never had a bad time at Mark Ridley's or whatever the club is in
Yeah.
whatever town. And man, if we could go back to that, that'd be sweet. But that
Yeah.
was the first taste of it. I was like, that's what every club should have in every town. It's just that rapport of like, yeah, we book good comics
That's
and you'll
it.
have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was your first comedy club when you said you went on a kind of a college thing
Yeah.
first, but how was your first club? Because colleges are different than the clubs.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very different. So
Because colleges, you might do a lunchtime when they're studying.
Yeah, I've had some soul-sucking experiences. Bombing at a college is like bombing at an open mic, except instead of 3 minutes, it's 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And at the end, they give you a giant check.
Yeah.
Instead, so you get paid really well
Yeah.
to die a death.
Yeah.
But, or the shows can be great. When they're great, they're fun. But the first club experience I had, Looney's Comedy Corner, it was the first club I ever headlined. And I was in Colorado Springs, and I was just there last week. I was so excited about it. It was like the first time headlining. I think I was like 26 or 27. I was like, man, this club's taking a chance on me just based on the
your
on
clips.
the. Oh well, no, because I'd featured there, but they really listened to the comment cards, and I guess I got good comment cards. So they're like, we're gonna give you a
bring it
shot.
back.
Yeah. So I go over there. It's my first night's Thursday, and the owner of the club picks me up, and he goes, "We got to stop and get some pizzas." And I was like, "Okay." And I thought he was hungry or something. I didn't know what his deal was. We go out, and I'm sitting in the car. He comes out with a giant stack of pizzas, and he sits them on my lap. They're hot. They're like burning my thighs. And I can't, they're so high, I can't see out
See over the
window.
top of the boxes?
Yeah. Like, I would be able to read pizza without my contact lenses in. And I look at him, I go, so what's with all the pizzas? And he goes, ticket sales are light. And I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, so I did a Facebook ad that you get free pizzas if you come to the show tonight. And I was like, man. I go, how much are tickets? And he goes, $2.
Oh.
And I went,
$2.
yeah. So $2 wasn't enough to get people in to see me.
Now you got to offer pizza to it.
Now-
$2 on a
yeah.
slice.
So I was so excited. I was like working on my set. I'm going to do this joke. Then I'm going to get them with this. Putting my little 45 minutes together. So pumped. And then I realized that we got to give away free pizza to get people in. And it only brought in like 10 extra people. So Thursday, my very first time headlining a club outside of San Diego, 20-something people.
Uh-huh.
And then I had to leave, and I got to take like 5 boxes of pizza back to the condo. And that's what I ate.
You
all
ate for all week. So you got a bonus.
A bonus.
Bonus.
Yes. Bonus pizza.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for doing the podcast, man.
Thanks for having
I
me, man.
appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
This is where we always now it turns to tell everybody how to find you and look. Are you on Twitter and Facebook?
I'm on all of them, and it's all uniform. It's all Zoltan Comedy. That's my Twitter handle, Instagram handle, and Facebook.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty hard to find everybody across the board,
Right.
because everybody's like, well, I'm at such and such at this, and then I'm McGrew stand up at, or I'm cowboy on a horse at, you know.
And I come out and see me live. And I know we probably don't agree politically, but I don't really talk politics in my act.
You don't. I don't either.
Yeah.
That's when people always like...
Right, and they dig that.
Yeah.
And if I ever do, like the times I've done political bits, I always try to do them like that tax joke, where I jab both sides.
It's a very buffered, even-handed...
Yeah, so everyone gets a giggle.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of making one side laugh?
Right.
Yeah, let's get everybody.
Because that's the point of a comedy club. You come to laugh.
Right.
We can be out here in a podcast, opinionated, or you can be your Twitter is like, when you have to write, these are my opinions, not those of my radio station.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to get everyone in. So yeah, come out and see me live.
What would be your takeaway? Like, leave somebody with your like. I'm trying to think of how to word this, because I love that you said the guy that you used to work for said this, and it stuck with me.
Yeah,
what line do you have that you'd be like, take this with you? When you go, do you have anything that's your...
It's actually a line that I say in my act that I said the Waffle House waitress said, but it's a lie. It's actually a thing I came up with. Life can't always kick you in the dick.
Yeah, buck up or whatever it is you said.
Yeah, if you're ever down, life can't always kick you in the dick. And I said it to a friend of mine. He was going through a rough time. He was living in a halfway house, going through rehab. And he was telling me about it, and I go, man, life can't always kick you in the dick. And I didn't think much of it. Yeah. But 6 months later, he responded back and go, that really meant a lot.
That meant a lot to me.
And I was like, I forgot I said that. And now I think it's like a good line.
Yeah, now it'll be on like one of your T-shirts.
Yeah.
Cheer up, life can't always kick you in the dick.
It can't. It's got to be good sometimes. So if things are going rough, man, just keep your chin up. Something's good. Something good's coming around the corner.
Yeah, remember that, ladies. Life can't always.
Especially for you.
All right, man. Thanks for doing the podcast. I appreciate it. Guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. You know the only way to get this around is to share. There's no advertising on most podcasts. I mean, I'm definitely not one of those guys. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the what?
Blue Chew.
That's
all the big one now.
What are those? What is it?
That's chewable Viagra.
Oh, I haven't heard this one.
It's on every podcast I listen to.
Blue Chew?
Blue Chews. That's the big new ad that all the podcasters are pitching.
Oh. I'll have to see if they want to sponsor Remasculate. If anything else, Viagra ought to be putting the Masculate back in.
Get on it, Blue Chew.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Blue Chew. If you've ever needed a boner and couldn't get one, Blue Chew is right for you. What does their ad sound like? They're just like it's supposed to be Viagra,
but quicker because you chew it, so it just goes right into your bloodstream. So it's like, you don't have to space it out with an hour. If it's happening, you just pop it in, chew it up.
Pop it in and then pop it in.
Yeah, exactly. Give the old lady
It's Blue Chew. Yeah. Just a pinch between your cheek and gum, and next thing you've loaded that gun.
I think you're allowed to say anything because all the different podcasts I've heard it on, no one's had the same pitch.
They're not giving them a script.
No, they're like, why don't you have fun with this boner gum we're selling?
Oh, I am definitely going to. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm telling you right now, I'm looking into boner gum. Blue Chew. Blue Chew. I'm just going to end this thing laughing. All right, see you guys. Bye.
In the basement of the mud flap house, flapping and poo, and they're under with the grains and news, and poo licks herself, and flap contemplates manly things. He thinks about guns and trucks and Stooges 3, men and boys, and that doesn't sound right. He thinks about boobs and bacon and power tools. Come with me, let's remasculate. Oh, won't you come with me and remasculate?
Aloha!